How's it going, people? Welcome to this week's edition of The Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. And you are very welcome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share widely and wildly this link because it's going to be an explosive show with the two guests we have in in the studio, or rather online, today. So we'll get into it right after this.
Oh, he's done it! Cometh now! Cometh the man! And it's that one, Young. It's 8 goals in his last 8 Premier League starts at Emirates Stadium. Salah! Wow! What a strike by Mohamed Salah!
Ball down the channel, and it's played into Fernandes in the penalty area. Oh,
Aguero looking for the 1-2 Balotelli. He's won the title.
Never know. Here's Harry Kane. Kane goes for what a goal from in business here. Lukaku scores on second debut. It's only taken 14 minutes.
Brilliant, brilliant. Welcome back from that. And of course, joining us on the show today is Manzi, a resident Man United expert, fanatic, and Ole in ambassador, who unfortunately this week has had to eat a lot of his words from, his own fan base. But we will get into that. Manzi, say what's up.
Thank you, Matthew, for having me. What's up, guys?
Brilliant, brilliant. And of course, Akram, who's new to the show, just joined for the first time today, Arsenal fan. Akram, you are welcome to the show. You can say what's up.
Thank you, Matthew. I'm glad to be here.
Brilliant, brilliant. And we will get right into it, starting with the action on Vicarage Road. Watford mauling Man United 4-1. I don't think, so many fans saw that coming. But let's kick off with the result, Manzi, and your analysis of it. What happened? What went wrong for United?
What went wrong is what has been wrong, I think, for the last so many weeks. Players are not serious. Players are... I thought after the 2 weeks break, they would come back more energized. Yeah, so... defense is not.
It looks like they came back ready to put a nail in Ole's.
Those guys came intentional to throw Ole under the bus. Those guys, I think, discussed during the international break that this is what we're going to do. We'll lose to Watford, that guy will be out of here. Then we'll get another manager. So I could understand Liverpool is a better team. I would understand City is a better, but Watford, it was very disappointing. And imagine. Van der Sar saved Sar's penalty twice, right? So imagine
Van der Sar. Did you say Van der Sar?
Sar's penalty. They have saved Sar's penalty twice.
Exactly.
If Sar scores, that's 5. That's 5-1.
Yes.
They have saved us a lot. Again, the usual mistakes. Maguire, red card. The captain of the team, central defense. Yeah, so same old United. In fact, it was sad. Let me just say that.
Yeah, I can relate, and I can see you're more or less shocked by the performance. Like you couldn't even believe it. Akram, I mean, Arsenal and Man United have built a strong rivalry over the last 2 decades or so, especially the previous decade. Where it was really Ferguson's boys versus Wenger's boys. And, we would relish a Man United thumping by any, we would really have a thumping like that for United. But I'd have to say at this point, I was also very concerned and quite saddened by the way United was being torn apart. What was your take on the game, Akram?
Yeah, I think... that performance was very terrible, very, very terrible, even to United standards of the last 3 games. However, I'm not one of the people that think Ole is the one to blame or those players weren't playing for Ole. I feel like United's problem started after the transfer window this season when they brought in Ronaldo, who they had not actually planned for. They had everything in place before Ronaldo came. Greenwood was on fire. Cavani was getting few minutes, but he would really perform. Martial was like the only one who was, like the missing link. And you realize they had Rashford missing out of injury. But the moment Ronaldo came in, the shape had to change. So you realize now it looks like the team is playing at Ronaldo's strength. I personally thought that's the reason why United has been performing poorly and had nothing to do with Solskjaer. And I think it's going to be the same problem with the next manager they are going to have. He's going to have a very similar problem unless maybe he comes up with a shape that's really going to work for them with Ronaldo in that team. So I personally think Ole is not an elite coach. He's not the best coach United could have, but I feel like he had improved them. United finished second last season. All they needed this year was to compete with these big boys. Man City, like go toe with Man City and Liverpool. And I feel like I don't think it was the right decision to let him go. Personally.
Yeah, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I can agree with you there because I was looking forward to facing Ole at the wheel, in the match we're going to have in a couple of weeks. But United might just get a bounce. So Manzi, do you feel, obviously going into the discussion around Ole sacking, Ole getting the sack shortly after that, you could see the man was despondent after that game, and you knew that the sack was coming. Just like his players, I mean, look at that. Cristiano Ronaldo has had a horrible last 2 weeks. Portugal not making it to the World Cup and having to go through the playoffs, coming off the back of defeat before that, getting into another defeat. This man must be contemplating retirement right now. But Ole, as you can see there, he knew the writing was on the wall, waving to the crowd. This guy knew that this was his last game. Manzi, having been a staunch Ole in fan, you've always maintained it's the players that needed to be organized. What is your assessment of the sacking? Do you feel that it was inevitable now, or do you feel he needed more time?
Of course, I'm not going to say Ole is the best manager in the world, but I think that the timing is not good. I don't think it's good to sack managers in the middle of, not even the middle, this is what, 13 games, game week 13.
Yeah.
And to think that, okay, maybe the sacking was inevitable. If it was inevitable, what was the plan? I didn't want a sack and then we get into an interim, then the interim of the interim, and then the interim, and then the manager, right? Because we've been down this road. We had interim Ole, who played, is actually a victim of his success. He was an interim manager who did so well and then he got the job, okay? So what happens if Carrick does extremely well and they give him the job? Then we go down this road again for 3 years. So I knew Ole wouldn't survive this season, but I would have liked for him to, to coach until the end of the season, give the recruitment board time to get a proper manager so you don't have an interim. And that way you have some, succession planning. But this stuff of sacking the manager because of the British press and media and social media and fans, it seems a bit of a knee-jerk reaction for my.
Really, Manzi, let me probe you there. Was it really a reaction? A knee-jerk reaction. I mean, look at the results. Football is a results-based business, and particularly with the English Premier League, as you know, very ruthless. We have seen teams like Aston Villa, even Norwich, Spurs sack their managers, bring on new managers, and all of them have gotten a bounce. Those three teams won their games this weekend. So, I mean, if you look at that,
why do you think say that those teams haven't brought in interim managers? Because they had it in their minds that they were going to sack these managers, right? They knew that I'm giving this guy, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, and if he didn't do well, we'll get this manager in. But United sacked without a plan. That's my problem. Like sack with a plan, right? And all these guys have been saying Ole out from the beginning of the season. When I ask them, so what is the replacement for Ole? Silence. The silence is too loud, right? So for me, that's my worry. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Well, Akram, do you agree with him? Some would argue that the United board was, quite lackadaisical in their approach to Ole sacking, because we have seen the results take a downward turn for the last month or so, right? Traditionally, before the next international break is a good time for those teams to sack, and that's why you did see a number of sackings and appointments. So the teams could have a 2-week break for the manager to at least get in and try and get a few things right. Man United decided to dilly-dally. Manzi, for me, the backup plan that I did see, and I'm sure the Man United board was seriously considering, was Conte, who was actually now gone to Spurs and created a huge problem for Manchester United.
Matthew,
Yes.
Don't say that. United have never been interested in Conte. They never made any contact with Conte. There is no connection with Conte.
Let's give my man Akram a view on that. Akram, what's your view on that?
Akram,
the man is in denial.
Well, I my answer is a yes and no for Manzi's opinion. No, in the sense that by the time a manager gets sacked, definitely the board has sat and discussed it through and realized he's not the right person, or he has failed to reach to a point A and B of somewhere they wanted the team to be. And I would say yes, in a fact that, you see, Ole, I believe it was a knee-jerk reaction, like sacking him right now, because Ole finished second last season. Second, behind Man City, that was a really good team. Ole finished above Liverpool, a very fine Liverpool squad that just won the league. So I feel like,
to be fair, Akram, Liverpool were in poor form last season.
Yes, but then that is not. You don't blame Ole. You don't blame Ole for Liverpool being off form. You realize. So I would, as an Arsenal fan, if Arteta gave us the results that Ole gave United last season, I don't think I would sack him this season after 13 games. You understand? So I feel like he's second. He got by the time he got the team, this team was outside top 4. If you remember very well, they were in Europa League. They were outside top 4. He came in, they finished in top 4. Like they haven't finished outside top 4 like since the time they have come in Europa League was because they went through the Champions League group stages and dropped out in third place. I feel like there has been a great improvement with Man United under Ole. However, I feel like their fans are too ambitious. They want the league. They want, and they don't see themselves winning the league with Ole in charge. And I can agree with that. I also don't see Man United winning the league with a football manager like Ole. So I feel like they felt if we wait for the end of season to sack Ole, he may do a magic there, and maybe they finish second, just 1 point behind the title leaders, and it would give them another hope for another season, and it's a circle like that. So they felt like, let's sack him right now, start afresh, and So I believe Ole should have been given more time, but still I understand why he was sacked.
Fantastic. So what next, Manzi, for United? Because we need to bring all things United to a close very shortly. But what next? What next for United?
The future for United is very bleak. As an Ole in person, I am asking the Ole outers, what next? What's the plan? Like, I've been listening to all these pundits. Guys are mentioning the funniest names I've ever heard. Of course, Pochettino. My friend Nate is always talking about Ten Hag. Guys are speaking about Zizou. I had a pundit saying that they're looking.
Did you see Zizou's reaction?
As Zizou said, he's not interested.
Yeah, so this came right from Zizou, and for me this is fantastic. My meme of the day, United and Zidane agreeing that today is Monday and tomorrow is Tuesday, failing to agree on a new deal. So obviously it's not as easy. Of course, jokes aside, the monetary hack is going to be difficult.
Yeah, guys saying things like Wenger's an interim manager, Brendan Rodgers.
No chance.
You listen and you're like, you guys, you sounded like you had it all figured out, right? You sounded like, you had the manager ready to take on the club. And it's not easy to follow a good manager like Alex Ferguson, especially.
So let me ask, Manzi, who would you bring in as a coach, or who would you want United to hire from the available coaches? let's be realistic. Wenger is not on that list. But
from the
from
available coaches, to be
yeah.
honest, I can't think of anyone who is good, because again, the reason why you wait for the season to end is some people will get unemployed along the way. But now people are still, stuck at their jobs. I remember the Newcastle, team wanted to get Unai Emery, and he's like, "Man, guys, I'm still employed at Villarreal, right?
Just started the season again.
I can't just leave now." But when the season ends, or as it's coming to an end, you continue having discussions with the manager. Maybe things are not going well. Okay, PSG, they're saying Pochettino, and then you can have a better. But now you're going to have an interim, and looking for the manager that you want. In this case, I hear people are saying Pochettino. I don't know how good he is since he failed to win the league with Tottenham. He might win the league with PSG.
He failed last season.
I'm not hopeful at all. The future is bleak. I think it will take us a long time to get a good manager. We're not like Chelsea, who can, get a manager for 1 week and then fire him, get another manager, win the league. Somehow they've succeeded. I don't know how they manage that. We are more like Liverpool. Get Klopp for 6 years, then you win something, then you something like that. That's how I see United, but I might be wrong.
Well, if you get me a direct line to Ed Woodward, I can propose something that might be able to work for United.
What would you propose, Matthew?
Interim basis. Well, for me, Carrick is certainly not the solution. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I would love to face Carrick as interim manager for United. I would love to. If we can have that for the next 2 weeks, I will be delighted. But realistically, just like you said, United will have to pull a very serious stop to get the likes of Zizou in. He obviously has one eye on the France job. Probably has a pre-contract because he's really not budging from what we are hearing. But if that would be the case, I don't think Brendan Rodgers would take United too far. I think they need to wait and get. You need to wait and get a Zizou or a Simeone or a manager whose ego is bigger than the dressing room. You have Pogba in there, you have Cristiano Ronaldo, you have Bruno Fernandes. These guys are, the egos in there are too big. Not even a Ten Hag is above that ego. So you need a Zizou. Yeah.
This sacking of Ole. Other clubs, when they sack the manager plus his coaching staff, plus his bad days, plus his family. These guys sack Ole, then they leave Carrick, you leave Fletcher, you leave Phelan. So are they sacked? What are they doing? Is that
he gave a farewell interview. Did you not see that? He said he left out the front door.
Nothing has changed. It's just Ole out, but Carrick is the guy I think who was even advising Ole. So more of the same.
Well, it is bleak, but Manzi, like I was saying, what I would propose, and I don't know what Akram thinks of this, but what I would propose. No, what I'd propose, I think what would be great for United under the current circumstances, considering the points that you have raised, is Sir Alex Ferguson comes out of retirement on an interim basis until the end of the season. It is not. I mean, Bayern Munich did it with what is his name, Otmar Hitzfeld, just a few years ago. Before you remember that he won them. Was it Otmar Hitzfeld? No, it was this other guy. Is it? His name is running out. Is it Jupp Heynckes? Yeah.
Yes.
Jupp Heynckes. Yes. He had won them, I think, the Champions League the season before, retired. They got into a mess. He came in half the season, steadied the ship, won another league, and then they got the manager that they wanted, in the summer, which is what you're recommending and what would make sense. Because every manager wants a clear out, wants a transfer budget, is able to have time to impose his system on the team and his personality, etc. So I don't think it sounds like a crazy idea, but to salvage Man United's season, to guarantee, you can't necessarily guarantee, but to give a good shot of finishing within the top 4. Sir Alex Ferguson comes out of retirement for the next 7 months of the season, and
the man could die. The man could die in that dugout. Like, honestly, football has evolved way better. I actually feel I disagree with Manzi, because I feel like Man United is a big club. If Man United came for a coach and they seriously want that coach, they would get that coach. Trust me.
Exactly. Exactly.
They would maybe I can mention like they would fail to get Pep Guardiola and
Yes.
Jurgen Klopp right now. But if Man United went to Diego Simeone and they really wanted him,
Mm.
they can get him. Even if they want him next week, trust me, Man United can get that coach. I really believe it, and
Mm.
in that's why I think they are going to get Pochettino even
So
before the
the
next game.
question is, why can't they get someone that they want? If you're saying they can get the person next week, why is it? Is it that they don't know who they want? Is it that
No, it's still early days, Manzi. It's just, I mean, the guy was fired yesterday. These things take time.
Yes,
yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel
Go
like they
ahead, Akram.
wanted like what Matthew said. They wanted to fire him 3 weeks ago before the international break. Then somehow, somewhere, he didn't perform that poorly, and Conte went to Spurs instead. I don't think. I think United was interested in Conte, but it was not conclusive until
Mm-hmm.
Spurs took him away, and they were like, okay, let's give it some time. And then this happened. You get humiliated by Watford 4-1. They knew if you don't react right now, the fans are going to be on your back for like the next three,
Exactly.
4 games. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I really have a feeling Pochettino will be announced before the next Man United Premier League game. I have a
Mm.
strong feeling. And he
I,
will terminate his contract with PSG and he will march to Manchester this week. I have a feeling they will do it.
mm-hmm. All right, let's leave all things United there. As you can see, Zizou is not part of that, as you know, as we saw earlier. But we have to move on to Anfield and Akram. Kicking off with you. Of course, this is the only consolation for Manchester United fans. As you can see, Mandy is already
we'd like
laughing
to
his
thank
heart out.
guys. You guys are our real blood brothers. Arsenal guys, like you don't let us suffer alone. When we are down, you're down. When we are up,
Hey.
you try and we Matthew,
But
I'm so grateful for Arsenal.
well, as you can hear, Manzi is quite excited. Manzi,
Mm,
please bear in mind you might sleep outside today. We know some members of your family are Arsenal fans,
mm.
so let's keep it on the low. But Akram,
Yes.
4-0, you know, came back and showed itself. But I mean, what do you think happened? What do you think went wrong for Arteta and the Arsenal? They've been on the back of an 8-game unbeaten streak in the Premier League, 10 games in total, including the other competitions, which is ideally the Carabao Cup. But so coming in off a run of very solid form, has been stable. Performing great. The new signings have really shone for Arsenal. So going into this game, especially looking at the team sheet, the squads being announced, the lineup, you did think Arsenal had a chance of at least taking the game to Liverpool. But what happened? What happened, Akram, in your view?
Yeah, in my opinion, everything went wrong with this fixture. And
Mm,
to me, it was expected. I was in the Arsenal
mm,
groups and people were optimistic. They thought maybe with this form we have a new team, we have a new backline, so probably it's going to be different. There's no Mustafi, we don't have Kolasinac, we don't have Bellerin. So
Bellerin.
yes, we thought maybe those were the players why Liverpool used to hit us 4, 5, 6. And what happened? The same old display. The only difference is that the goals came in a little bit late, but it still rained goals. And I totally expected this. I didn't expect, even seeing that lineup, I didn't expect Arsenal to come in wanting a result in this fixture. Arsenal came in to defend. It's like we came in to concede at least 1 or 2 goals. Like, let's not get humiliated. That's why we defended
Mm,
with all our might in the first half. We lost the first half by 1-0. And by the time it hit the 70 minutes, goal started. And that is how it's been against Liverpool. We either lose by 5 goals in the first 20 minutes or we lose by 5 goals in the last 20 minutes. So I, I really feel there is so much work to do with this club. It has nothing to do
mm,
with players. These players are not so bad to lose 4-0 at Liverpool. I feel like it's either a mentality issue and tactics, and either we easily get intimidated whenever we come to Anfield. So not only Anfield, actually, because in one of our WhatsApp groups with the Gunners, guys are like, "Don't worry, it was Liverpool, they're a big club, former
Yes.
champions, And you tell them, you're telling me not to worry, but these are 4 losses. We have lost to Man
Yes.
City, we have lost to Brentford, we have lost to Man City
Chelsea.
and Liverpool, and we have return legs. So are you telling me that you're fine to lose these 8 games every season? You get at this, and you feel for Arsenal fans that want this club to get back to its glory. Lose to Liverpool, but put up a fight. We didn't
Yes.
we didn't put up a single fight. The only person I saw was trying to play maybe was our goalkeeper. Yeah, who wasn't so impressive, but at least he made a couple of saves here and there. We could have lost 7-0 by 8 goals. But I totally expected us to lose this game by a big score. I really did.
Yeah, so Manzi, I mean, what, all jokes aside, I know you're quite excited by the result. Of course, goals coming in from Sadio Mane, Diogo Jota with a fantastic solo goal after Arsenal lost the ball at the back. And Mohamed Salah, of course, the king, piling the misery there with number 3. And then Takumi Minamino, who came in as a sub, adding a fourth, of course, a pair of assists from Trent Alexander-Arnold, dismantling the Gunners. I think the Gunners actually, Manzi, in my view, played relatively well in the first half. Try to keep Liverpool at bay, losing to a set piece goal there from Sadio Mane, as you can see in the background. Some saying Ramsdale should have at least gotten a fingertip to that, but it's always difficult when it's moving at that pace and being knocked off the ground. It's a difficult one for the goalkeeper to get a hand to, and then you do have this particular incident. And Manzi, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Of course, Arteta and Klopp reacting on the touchline and getting the first 2 yellow cards of the game. And some Arsenal fans have had saying that this was actually the turning point in the game because it rallied up the Anfield crowd. Because up till this point was 1-0 down, and the crowd was actually silent because they were seeing that Arsenal was being quite difficult for the match, of course, coming off the back of a loss. But what was your take? Do you think this incident in particular was responsible for Liverpool's being fired up? You know how the Anfield crowd gets, and that's why teams such as Barcelona found it difficult in the past as well. So what was your take on that?
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I watched it, and Arsenal tried to play well in the first half. They tried to defend well, but what I've seen about football is that some teams or some players, not the whole team, but some players in the team want it more than others. Like when you look at Mane, he's such a small, short, black guy, but that set piece, how can he jump higher than Ben White and all these other defenders? It's like they want it more. When you see like Mo Salah, Liverpool creates many chances, but Mo Salah sometimes is a bit fake. Like he'll dribble and then he'll miss, then he'll fall, then he'll leave the ball. Like he actually wastes a lot of chances. But the guy didn't give up. Like for 90 minutes, he keeps trying, hoping that something will turn up. Even Jota, then you have Trent, man. That guy is, I think, one of the best passers of the ball. So the teammates, either, because of the current form, they have that belief, they are confident that they can do anything. So even when they are 1-0 at halftime, they're like, yeah, we'll get our chances. And also that, playing from the back, Arsenal playing from the back and Liverpool pressing them, they were not able to make passes to even go past the midfield. So guys at the front were left there alone. And yeah, even this, like you've mentioned, this part of the Arteta and Klopp, I think the game might have been, boring and quietening down a bit. It created some kind of entertainment and comedy, and I think when the fans started making noise, then the players were like, "Hey, man, you guys are about to doze off." Our managers are the ones who had to wake them up. So I think they also got excited and started playing seriously. But Liverpool as a team, they play so confidently. Even when they have missed opportunities, they don't give up. They keep coming. They keep like Mane. He falls down, gets up, falls down, gets up, runs back, forth. But you ask United guys to do that stuff, man. Guys brace, guys brace. So Liverpool and City, even Chelsea, I think the players work harder, and you have to work hard to win. So I like that about Liverpool.
Well, definitely some, hard-won it for Liverpool there. Akram, do you feel Arsenal are going to take a downward spiral in terms of form, or was this a temporary blip?
I hope not. I really hope not, because our hopes have been raised. We are in 5th position. We feel like we can get back into top 4. So right now, if we come to Newcastle next week and lose a game at Newcastle, that would really be bad for the team and the board plus Arteta himself. So I'm really not hoping Arsenal to take a downward spiral right now. I feel Newcastle is there for the beating. Man United, you never know what happens to a team that just sacked a manager. So I feel that's a game that will be difficult for us, and I wouldn't be surprised if we fail to get a result there. But I expect us to beat the other teams around the corner. So I really hope we don't go down like we normally do.
Fantastic. Manze, why are you laughing? Yeah? You really love Arsenal.
I'm laughing because 5th is not your natural position. The natural Arsenal position is like 9th, 10th, 11th, even 20th, man. 20th looked so natural for Arsenal. So 5th is an unnatural position.
Yeah, so we have Coach Derek, who has just joined. He's a Liverpool fan. Coach Derek, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Very pleased to be on the show.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Welcome to the show. You came
my network in Chanja is very bad, very unstable. And it becomes even worse when the weather is bad. So my apologies.
No worries, Coach Derek. What was your view on the Liverpool Arsenal game? I think before that, what do you think Liverpool got right or Klopp got right in that game? Yeah, I think Coach Derek is not going to work out today. His network is quite poor, but he did come on to give his view on Liverpool. Probably he'll do that in the next show. So moving on to the other game, we did see, of course, they were going despondent Arteta. Manzi, your noisy neighbors are doing quite well. On the other hand, Everton moving into the Etihad and expecting a result, but getting knocked down 3-0. Pep Guardiola answering some questions about the lack of a striker before then, but coming out to say we don't need a striker. And his team actually proving it. So goals coming in there from Raheem Sterling, a peach of a goal from Rodri, and then Bernardo Silva, with the icing on the cake. What do you feel about Manchester City? Who be stopped?
Pep
you
is
feel this team is
for
better than Chelsea?
Pep is criticized for that whole thing of not having a striker, but he could be onto something now that I think about it. As I was watching the Chelsea game, sorry to move away from City, I saw Ben Chilwell in the box. I was like, is this guy a defender or a striker? And defenders are scoring goals, midfielders are scoring goals. And I started thinking to myself, when you look at your fantasy team, at least for this season, we have invested more in defenders and midfielders. Like, if you buy these expensive premium strikers like Lukaku, like Kane, like Ronaldo, their returns are lower. So maybe if you empower everyone in the team to score goals, you can survive a season without a full proper number 9 striker. And that shows, because even Chelsea, Rudiger scores, Chilwell scores. Like, this stuff of strikers, it might not be like Akram had said, things are evolving, football is evolving. So unfortunately I didn't watch the City game. Of course I don't like seeing City win, but they have the best manager in the world. They have good
Yeah.
players. Who needs a striker, man? Keep doing what you're doing.
Mhm. So you say, Akram, what did you feel about City's performance? Can they be stopped, these guys?
Yeah, they can be stopped. At least this time they have big competition from Chelsea and Liverpool. Chelsea is really playing
Mm,
well, like really, really well.
Yeah.
And I feel like Pep Guardiola may say this and that about a striker, but honestly, a team really needs a striker. Time will come when the goals have dried out from the
mm,
midfield. Unless, Sterling has been scoring
mm,
18, 19, 20 goals in the previous seasons. You see, he scored this weekend, but his goals have a little bit dried up in the previous game. So
mm.
you don't know when Bernardo's will dry up. Look at KDB, Kevin De Bruyne.
Who's injured
He's
now?
on and off. He's injured. You can't really rely. Look at Mahrez. He will score a very good player with a good left foot, but can he give you those consistent goals? I actually believe the reason they are not topping the table right now is because they didn't get a number 9. If they had a Hurricane, they would be miles ahead. And I think
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Guardiola knows this. His team is good enough to suppress that problem of not having a striker for now. But for how long? For how long will they have to hold it?
For the whole season.
For the whole season, then his team is good enough. They are good enough to win the league. By the way, they are good
Yeah,
enough to win the
squad
league.
depth,
But
squad depth is better than Liverpool, man. The Liverpool
yes,
guys are
but
going to Kwabika.
yeah, but look at
Hey.
a team like Chelsea right now. Goals are coming from everywhere. Lukaku is injured.
Yeah.
Lukaku will come in and he will score again. Reece James is
Chelsea are
scoring. Mount is
favorites.
scoring. So that's however the other point. I feel like City needs the Champions League more this season than the Premier League. So I have a feeling
Mm.
he's going to focus so much on the Champions League and bringing it to England, and he won't mind so much being beaten to the league title.
I hear you. Yeah, then now, if you, yeah, just on that point around the midfielders, just before we
Mm.
leave, City. Uh, Actually, whilst you were saying that, Akram, I do think that I noticed that Chelsea actually has a similar method of play right now. If you notice, it's the midfielders and wing backs that are scoring for Chelsea, and it's the same thing with Man City. Let's not forget João Cancelo in there. Of course, Kyle Walker is not as prolific, but João Cancelo does
Mm.
quite, he's matching up the likes of Reece James and Trent Alexander-Anderson this season for form on that wing, and of course getting the approval of Pep Guardiola there. Let's see what happens in the next round of fixtures. But we did speak about Chelsea, going away to Leicester City, who a big team, more or less finished fifth in the last 2 seasons. So Brendan Rodgers doing a great job. But this season they're finding it quite difficult. And Chelsea going over to the King Power Stadium and showing them no respect at all. So 3 goals conceded by Leicester City. Antonio Rudiger right there. N'Golo Kante with a wonderful solo run and shot in there, and Christian Pulisic coming off the bench to deliver a third goal. Manzi, who do you see running? You did mention that Liverpool are going to Kwabika, as you mentioned, which means obviously in the local dialect, run out of steam or bust. But who do you feel will be better positioned to take the advantage from them? Will it be Chelsea or will it be Manchester City on current form?
I think this is Chelsea's season to lose. It's
Mm.
they'll just lose it on their own by just being unserious. But if they continue doing what they're doing, I think I think they'll win the league. They've been knocking on the door. Last season they finished what, fourth? This season they have a
Yeah,
new
I think that was
manager.
fourth. Yeah.
They
Third,
seem to
actually.
have the squad depth. And football is about defense. You know, when Mourinho was at United, I was like, why is this guy so defensive? But as I grow older, I'm starting to see that football is about defense. The guys have conceded, I think, 4 goals so far.
That's Chelsea.
Yeah, that's an excellent defensive record. If your opponent can't score you, that means your opponent can't beat you. Yeah, the best they can have is a goalless draw. Or so if you have those clean sheets, that means you're now going to have 2-1, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. You'll keep winning. So their defense is solid. Rudiger, Chilwell, then you have Aspilicueta, Chris James. So their defense is very good, and then anyone can score. I think Chelsea are favorites now, but football, anything can happen. I don't think Liverpool or City can stop them for now. They're looking very good and very strong.
Brilliant. And we see Pulisic there and Thomas Tuchel looking very good for the season. Akram, our own version of noisy neighbors from North London there, Tottenham Hotspurs coming from a goal down to prevail 2-1 on Sunday. And we did see that over Leeds, Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds goals coming in from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Sergio Reguilon in there. Son and Kane failing to fire. I was obviously quite despondent at that result, not because of Spurs' win, but because I had faith and kept faith in Son and Kane. And I even captained Kane in my fantasy squad. So you can imagine my pain.
So sad.
You can imagine my pain. I thought he was going to come to life. But Akram, what was your thoughts on the Spurs result? Of course, the first game for Antonio Conte was a draw. He won this one coming from behind, and he's gotten Spurs. I wouldn't say buzzing again, but on the right trajectory. The goal scorers there. But for me, how about that for passion from Antonio Conte? Do you think he was a miss for Man United?
Yeah. I really think Conte is a really good manager who can work wonders with any club. I also feel this weekend's win was a manager's bounce. You know that new manager bounce. So I feel like it was one of those because they came from behind to win the game with goals that were not really convincing. You saw how it happens, but that's how football happens, especially when you have a new manager. However, I feel this Tottenham team is one that we need to watch out for. Not for the league though, but for Arsenal and Man United and Tottenham, I feel we are going to have our own league of 5th, 6th, and 7th. And I feel like 4th, 5th, and 6th. I feel like Leicester is going to fall. Leicester is going to fall out of that top 6 team this year. So I feel like Arsenal, Spurs, and Man United are going to have their community competition around those places. For Tottenham, I feel they are slightly better than Arsenal this season. Squad and the coach. And I feel like they're going to get so many wins,
Really?
similar wins. Yeah, similar wins like they got this weekend. That's Antonio Conte's game, if you realize. He will come and beat you 2-1, 1-0. Not convincing, but he will get the result.
Yeah, exactly.
And trust me, Antonio Conte is the kind of, if you look at his records in previous teams he's gone to, he's the kind of coach that always delivers in his first season. If you realize his first season, when you bring him, he will deliver what you have asked him to deliver. And I'm sure the reason why Tottenham sacked Nuno after 8-10 games is because they realized he won't get them top 4, and what they need right now is top 4.
Top 6.
I do believe our noisy neighbors and top 6. Yeah, I do believe Tottenham will finish top 6, 5th or 6th, depending on how Arsenal will fare up in the next games.
Interesting assessment, Manzi. We have to bring it to a close, but I would like to get your opinion, Manzi, on another team that is throwing a spanner in the works. We have seen, and I think I agree with Akram, that Leicester will probably bow out of the top 6 this season. but they after finishing fifth in the consecutive last 2 seasons. But West Ham is something, is a team to be reckoned with right now. They are obviously beating Liverpool 3-2, losing this weekend away to Wolves, but still respectable mention to West Ham. I think they will have something to say about the other 2 slots, 5th and 6th. What is your take on that, Manzi?
Yeah, man. This top 6 is getting overpopulated. We began when we were top 4, now top 6. I think this season will be top 8 because things are tight, man. You have West Ham. Where is West Ham? You can't put West Ham out of the top 7. Let me say 7. You have West Ham, you have Tottenham, you have United, you have Arsenal. The teams are so many, the positions are so few. Yeah, West Ham is doing well. They are playing consistently well. Just to say something small about Tottenham, because I watched the game, the goals were so shady. Like it was chance over deflection. No way, let us play that. I was not convinced that. Like I agree with Akram, not convincing at all. That thing was supposed to end 1-1 at best. So they were lucky to get to 1. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, is that, like I was saying, that's the Italian style, right? Nick a ball, become solid in defense. But to be honest, to be fair, Akram, yes, he has won in his first few seasons. I think Inter Milan was the exception because he needed a season to, stabilize and get some players in. It's the same thing with Spurs. He will have to go the entirety of the season without strengthening. Probably bring in 1 or 2 players, or let's say a few players in January on loan, a few bargain buys here. But remember, Spurs have not been spending much, and they do have quite a bit of money to spend. So next summer transfer window, Conte will have the funds or the resources to shape the team in his image. So next season for me is looking quite scary from a manager's point of view, and I think we will have a show to preview the Premier League, because as much as we're talking about fantastic players, great competition, it is quickly becoming the league of extraordinary managers. If you think of the likes of, if it's not the achievements, it's their pedigree. If you look at the likes of Steven Gerrard coming in, you look at Conte, you look at Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp,
I think
Thomas Tuchel.
I think we still have 2 managers who are going to get sacked before the season ends. And my guess is Mikel Arteta and Brendan Rodgers. I feel like they are next 2 managers to get this.
I doubt. I think Rodgers will see it out, but he may not survive next season if he starts like this. So guys, we will have to leave it at that for now. It's been fantastic having you guys on the show. Thanks for joining, and thanks for sharing your views right here on the Locker Room on Top 6 Fan TV. And do have a good rest of the week. Manzi, if you could be so kind as to assist Michael Carrick and Darren Fletcher as caretaker coach or set piece coach, that would be fantastic. But do have a great rest of the week. Fans, remember to hit the subscribe and like buttons for the show, and we will be back next time. And Godspeed. Have a great rest of the week and take care.
All right. See you. Thank you, Matthew.
Brilliant. Bye-bye.